Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chela time, where four friends talk about their thoughts with the drink in hand. My name is Diego.
Hey everyone, my name is Cesar.
My name is Pedro.
And I'm Joel.
Alrighty, another day, another podcast. Here we are.
That's icy.
Another
Another
dog.
day. I wish.
Yeah.
Good Lord. I want to disclose. I'm about four shots and ongoing, and I have a couple beers. So we'll see halfway what happens.
Four shots of what?
Whiskey. Bourbon, whiskey.
Okay.
I don't know. This one particular. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and start with that. What the hell are we drinking? I'll start.
Show him the whiskey. It's a special whiskey, dog.
It's a special whiskey.
It might be backwards, but it's.
Oh, I was.
Well, this is the main.
Whiskey,
this is the main one I'm drinking. It's called Southern Comfort.
That's the good one. That's the actual
Okay.
good.
Well, let's not.
bourbon?
That's total opinion. But I also have this bad boy. It's blackened. It is by my favorite band in the world, Metallica, and I probably shouldn't be mixing the two, but here we are. So that's what I got.
Yeah,
I tried the Blacken. I don't know. It
It's
tasted
okay.
too. Yeah, it tasted too chemically for me. Like, I don't know. Maybe again, like you said, it's
agree.
everyone's opinion. But I've tried better whiskey. So
Compared to all the other whiskeys I've had, I think that one's pretty okay. It's very much a put some hair on your chest kind of whiskey.
the other whiskey, is that the one you brought
Yeah, I brought both.
to yeah, that one's really good. That one has
was
like a
awesome.
honey
Which one?
vibe.
The
That was
sweet
really
one?
good.
What was
Southern
that
Yeah.
called?
Comfort.
Southern Comfort.
Southern Comfort. Yeah.
I could see
I agree,
myself
that one was
finishing a
good.
bottle of that.
That one's real
It's
gangster.
really drinkable. It's really
Actually, I think I would have preferred it a little bit colder because, like, it kind of, just vaporized in my mouth a little bit.
It was sitting
a
out,
little
to be fair.
It would have been really good.
It's interesting you mentioned that because back when I first turned 21 and began drinking, I looked up, I just went down the rabbit hole on YouTube of a bunch of videos of like people drinking whiskeys and different types of whiskeys and bourbons, and the amount of people that are super snobby about like, oh no, whiskey should only be drank, straight, as they call it,
Straight.
like straight from the bottle or like, and then there's another larger half that's like, oh no, you can have it on the rocks, like whatever. It's so weird. But in some cases, in my opinion, it depends on the type of whiskey. If it's just whiskey that you're going to drink, but if you mix it, if you drink it straight or if you drink it iced, it's completely different. And I bet this one, I've never tried this one iced, so that makes me want to try it.
Yeah, you just drink it straight.
Yeah, I've always drank it straight.
A la madre, way.
I can't do it, man.
Some burn, some
It's
don't.
Yeah, I feel like with a little bit of ice, it would be really nice.
warm. I like, as long as it's room temperature, it's fine. But when you get to like, it's like warm. Like it's like comparing a hot soda with a cold soda. They're totally two different things.
Right, but I'm not
So-
drinking them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
As
drinking
long
them
as it's not
warm,
like-
though. Like they're room temperature. They're like on top of my freezer.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Because whenever
Yeah.
you just say straight, I assume that it's like super warm.
That's what I've noticed. As I'm not an avid drinker, and I've just kind of really started getting into it now that I've turned 21 in August. Because the alcohol is so fucking volatile, dude. It sucks to drink it when it's hot. The other day I was drinking what is it, the Chela? Yeah, and I drank it cool at first, and I started sipping away, and there was like halfway, and it just got warm, and I was like, oh, that was so gross. So like right now, this guy is like straight out of the freezer. Like, have you guys seen that trick when you have a water bottle and you like tap it and it like instantly freezes?
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I've
Yeah,
never
it's
been
like
able to do that.
it's right there, so it's really good.
that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah,
I've
it's
never
really
been
fun.
able to do that. I've always seen it. I've just never
Right.
attempted it either, too.
My high school physics teacher showed it to us. He was super cool. It just came out. He's like, "You guys see this?" and just fucking slammed it. And he's like, "Yeah, it's a slushy now." And I'm like,
Who was
The
that,
fuck?
Mr.
yeah,
Chapman?
So it was really cool. Yeah, Mr. Chapman,
That dude was cool. Dude was weird.
OG.
OG.
I think you showed me magic trick once or something.
Dude was weird. Is that what you said?
He was just quirky.
He was interesting. I don't think he's weird. Yeah, he was pretty cool. But his energy, I guess, like at times would kind of tire you out.
Yeah, yeah, like those people that like are always on, and some days you're just like, I'm not feeling
Hmm.
your vibe.
Especially like block days, like the super long
Oh,
days. Like
fuck.
you could tell, like he kind of try to make those 2 hours kind of worth it, and I appreciated that. But sometimes he kind of just went overboard, and I'm like, dude, I'm tired.
Yeah.
For those listening, block days were essentially, I think, 2 days out of the week where, no, it's every day. No?
No, Monday and Tuesday,
No.
bro.
It started. It
Monday,
started
Tuesday?
Monday,
Okay. I don't
Tuesday.
know. It's been, okay. Yeah. So 2 days out of the week where for one class you spend two, I don't know. That's a horrible explanation, but you go on and off for 2 hours.
Yeah. So essentially, in our high school, no, I kind of explained it for like the last year we had 8 periods, and essentially block day Monday, block day Tuesday, we would alternate between we would have class 1 and that would go into class 2 and then we would skip that and go into class 3. So we kind of just had 1, 3, 5 and 7 and then we swapped alternating. So we had 2-hour classes. They were fun at times but times like English that was fucking dreadful, especially
yeah.
with our last teacher.
Yeah,
Which
You
is
had a
funny
couple
that we
times
say that.
You talking about doctor?
It's funny that we.
Oh, doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I enjoyed her class. I know not to name drop. She was cool.
Vegeta.
She was. Yeah, I agree. Like when I spoke to her, I'm like,
That's fucked, man. You
It's not
ain't gotta do it like
fucked.
that.
It's accurate. Everybody knows.
No, when I-
Everybody knows. She had like
He said
Pidgeotto
Pidgeotto.
hair, and if you don't even know who Pidgeotto is, it's a fucking Pokemon.
Pokemon.
It's like a what?
yeah.
Like,
So when I would speak with her, like normally she was cool, but as a teacher, she kind of went a little overboard. Um,
Oh yeah.
But anyways, we haven't disclosed this. This is actually a Q&A episode. We forgot to completely mention that. We went on all our social medias, asked questions to our friends and just, reached out to see who gave us some topics. And we have some. And it's funny that we started talking about teachers because one of the questions was, who was your worst teacher and explain why?
Who wants to go first?
So I kind of just present that out there. I got to kind of think about it.
I have
For
one.
me,
Okay, go ahead.
there was. I was just gonna say, for me, there was just one teacher, that it was freshman year of high school, and I don't know what I was going through. Honestly, I don't know if I was like a rebel or something.
Freshman year of high school?
Mm-hmm. Freshman year of high school.
You
There's
bad
this
boy.
teacher that would do a lot of bodybuilding. You guys are gonna know who I'm talking about. There was this teacher that would go and like lift weights and whatnot.
Was he an
She was
African American fellow?
No, it
Nah,
Oh, it
was
was a
big old
lady.
beer
I know what
belly.
you're talking about. The math teacher.
it was a Latino.
Math teacher? Math
Mhm.
teacher, yeah.
And so we'll call her Miss M for now. And I don't know what it was, but in their classroom, I was going through. I tend to say a lot of catchphrases, especially throughout high school. And at this point,
Still do.
yeah, like every week I'll change it up. But at this point, for like a month straight, my catch in her class, I love to say sure after everything she said. And looking back at it now, I wanted to punch myself in the face because I'm like, there was no need for you to, be that disrespectful. You know what I mean? But after everything she'd say, it would be like 2 + 2 = 4, and I'm like, sure. And a few kids would laugh. Everyone would laugh around me,
I think
and
that's the problem. Yeah.
that was the problem.
They
The people that would hype you up,
They
you know?
fed your fucking
Yeah.
stupidness.
Yeah, exactly. And because of that, she had it out for me, which, of course, I didn't see that I was disrespecting her. But at that point, I was like, "Oh, this bitch hates me." You know what I mean? Like, why does she hate me? I'm just being a dude.
I'm just
And
being a dude.
So
Just being a dick. That's
Yeah.
what you're being.
at one point, I tipped her over. I tipped her over the edge. I said sure after one thing, and she's like, "Step outside." And I was like, "Okay,
Beat
all
your
right."
ass.
Yeah, I was expecting this. Dude, okay, so she has me. She didn't. Okay. There's no need for any investigation. No harm was done. But she got like very close to me. And of
Okay.
course, like it wasn't like, "Oh, how you doing?" It was more
She
like,
smelled you.
I'm about to fuck you up.
She's like, you
You know
smell
what I
like
mean?
shit, dog.
Big whiff out of you.
Legit, first thing out of her mouth. First thing
You
out of
look
her
like
mouth.
Balls from right here.
I can smell your balls.
Oh.
What? Where did that come from?
No, I'm just kidding.
It's Rick
No,
and Morty.
first thing she says is, "I'm really tired of your shit." Like full on, I'm really tired of your shit. And at that point, like no teachers ever like cursed at me. I rarely got in trouble, and so
I doubt that.
at this point, I was just like, not to this extent though. Like not to the point where a teacher's cussing
Right.
at me and saying,
I think that's good though. It's like she's got to set you straight.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she did.
Yeah.
She like because again, she was. I saw her arms. Like she has some arms on her.
Oh,
looked like
she
dope.
would have fucked you up. Yeah.
She
I'm
would
still
have.
trying to
Oh,
figure
now I
out
know
in
what
my
you're talking
head
about.
who
She
you're
would.
speaking
There's a
about.
few. Okay.
She could
I have
bend
I
no
know
over.
exactly
idea.
who you're talking about.
I
Yeah,
have no
yeah.
idea who you're talking
She,
about.
whenever,
And she was Latina, so she.
so you know she had the chancla skills, dude. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, at that point, yes, I hated that bitch because I was like, why are you beefing with me? But like looking back at it, perspective, like through like a mature eye, I'm just like, no, I deserved. I would not have. I wouldn't have blamed her if she socked me. You know what I mean? Because legit, every single today, it would be like, sure, but nah, yeah,
I
that's the only teacher I ever disliked, truly.
I
That's
had
my
an
desk.
encounter with her. Uh, thankfully, at our high school, I had pretty good teachers, or like pretty good like encounters with all my teachers. Uh, Either they were just teachers, and I kind of didn't care. You know, it's like there was nothing eventful out of the class, and at worst, it was just like one day they were having a bad day, and they either like called the entire class out for something I wasn't even doing. You know,
I hated
but
those teachers.
I remember it was my senior year, and we were in my calculus class, and my professor, my teacher, who was there, he couldn't make it. I think he was having his second kid at the time, so she subbed for the entire for that entire week. And the first day she came in, she like said, "All right, do this on the board," and she like pointed me out. She's like, "Hey, go do it." Or no, my table, go do it on the board. This question, and we start doing it, and then we just you know get stuck. We don't know where to go. And she was like, "Wow, I thought you guys were the AP kids. I thought you were the smart ones." And I was like,
What the
"Bro, what the
hell?
fuck is this attitude is about?"
I remember
And
when he
so,
came and told me that.
yeah, I was livid because prior to this, I'm not gonna lie, this professor's known for having an attitude. So it's like it's not like I'm completely against you, Pedro. Whilst you were being a dick, it's well known that this teacher had an attitude problem.
Hmm.
And because I never took algebra straight from freshman year, I didn't have her. And then my algebra teacher for the next algebra sequence was a completely different teacher. So I just kind of word of mouth. That's where I was trying to where I had the experience with her until she was like she just called out the entire fucking class. She's like, "Oh, you guys are dumb as fuck."
Dang, like straight up.
Essentially, that's like how her tone and face was like. She's like, "Oh, how are you guys in AP? Like, you guys should be like in my fucking algebra class or something." That was the kind of her face, and I'm like, "Yo, dog, like, I think we were just like before my professor had left. I think it was like our first day, our second day. That was our second lecture on that. So we're like not knowing, and she just came in guns blazing, just shooting egos."
Yeah, it's
I don't think I ever had a bad experience with teachers. I had the luck of having every instructor that I had during high school, at least. I got along with. I think the only incident I had was in college, and that was just due to the fact that the guy in my English class, I think it was 101 or 102, I don't remember. It's one of those. Um, the guy just straight didn't know what was going on, and it kind of ticked me off that I would go and have questions about an assignment, and I would ask him, and he was like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." And I'm like, "You're teaching this class." He's like, "I teach 9 classes." And I'm like, "What do you want me to? What do you want me to do?" but I think that's only the
I hate that
remotely.
fucking excuse.
I remotely that's probably the closest thing I've had to a worst teacher, because I'm like, dude, okay, I get that you have 9 classes to teach, and they're all probably different classes, but come
Get shit
on,
organized.
like at least, yeah, fake it
Yeah,
till you
I've
make it, man.
in college I've had absolute shit professors. Like, my God, I can't believe that they're the ones getting paid when I'm like teaching. I'm learning from a fucking book and from the internet, and they get the money. So it's like it's kind of unfair. But I've had some absolutely horrible professors. But I haven't had one that makes me like bend like livid. Um, I do remember though in middle school I had this one teacher. Well, it's not my teacher. He was actually the fucking bus driver.
Wait, what?
Oh fuck,
Yeah,
dude, middle school for
yeah,
everyone.
yeah. Middle school. He was out to get me though. I remember I sat in like I think I sat like in seat 18 or 19. It was on the right side of the bus, and so what had happened was I sat in the middle, and it was kind of like between that transition point between the kids who are really quiet up front, and then the ones who are just fucking going balls to the wall, just inner monkey coming out at the back.
He's not wrong. I had
And
that bus for a little bit. He's not wrong.
yeah, so
Facts.
that was there, and but I was kind of at that transition point where I guess you could, if I like stood up, you'd say, oh, he's part of the kids in the back, but then if I had my earphones in, you'd be like, oh, he's at the front. But I remember one time the bus driver said that I was spitting on the seat, like just hacking loogies, just
Yeah,
fucking spitting it out, and I think he had like caught like twice that somebody had spat on the seat, and this was sixth grade, so I'm like new to the school, and I was shitting bricks when I found out that because if you guys remember, our middle school had sixth grade, which was kind of its own section, but then seventh and eighth were kind of bundled together. So there was a vice principal for sixth, and then there was a vice principal for seventh and eighth. And I remember when the vice principal for sixth grade, she came in and she was like, "Yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are you
Oh, I
spitting on
hated
seats?
her.
Like, you're gonna have Saturday school." And so it was. You guys remember that our school had Pride, like the little
The
stamp.
stamp system.
Okay,
yep.
so I got Pride for a whole week. So I got detention after school for an entire week, and I had to attend Saturday school. And luckily, I think it was the first day when I had gone into detention, or like the second day. For 2 days in a row, they had spat on my seat despite me not taking the bus that day. So they were like, "Oh shit, we got the wrong kid." And then I think they had set the bus driver down to like kind of talk about it or apologize to me, and he was like, "No, I don't have anything to say. I know it's you, but somebody else also spat on it." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I think it was like seventh grade that they finally changed bus drivers because he was just he didn't want to be the bus driver. He like just wanted to
Just
be
hated his
he
job.
wanted to
Yeah,
die or
like
something.
I always
Right,
imagine those
quick.
bus drivers having like different day jobs and like that end early, like get off like at noon, and then like this is what they do afterwards. But then again, I have
Yeah,
no
it's like
idea how like being a bus driver is, right?
yeah, they
But
probably take like a night shift, take a couple like 4 hours of sleep, and then they try and get a
yeah,
little
but
bit more money.
that isn't like you don't start a shift as a bus driver and just have that immediate attitude. Like you
Yeah,
have to like have shit happen to you throughout the day to have a really shitty mood. So when these fucking kids get in, you're just like a fucking asshole. So I'm like, this can't be your first job.
I
Like
I always had the
this is you
best
have
bus
something
drivers.
else.
I remember in middle school. I think it was like because obviously like we just mentioned in sixth grade, you went in like at a different time. It was just completely like separated from whatever the schedules were to the seventh and eighth graders. And so you had different bus drivers. Sixth grade, at this point, I honestly don't remember it that well, at least for my original bus driver. But for seventh and eighth grade, I remember we had like this one particular bus driver that so every time that you would leave school and you got on the buses to go home, there was like two bumps, like two bumps that were like separated in the back, like where they went out from the back entrance. And excuse me, particular bus driver on my bus always just fucking sped through those bumps. And it was just like, come on, do it. And like the kids hyped him up and he's like, fuck yeah. And we just hit the bumps. And I'm like, dude, he's destroying the bus. But he was great. And one day he was just,
I used to love when that happened.
yeah, it was,
Not to mention, we didn't have to wear seatbelts on
exactly.
those buses, dude.
Yeah, so like kids were like,
Flying.
and of course, you know, kids being kids were fucking jumping up on the bumps to try to like bang their head on the fucking ceiling. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then that dude just left one day, and after that we had this.
The kid's neck broke or something.
No. After that guy, like for whatever reason, just like stopped being the bus driver for our route. We had like this small Hispanic, like young adult, like that was. She must have been like 25, 26 maybe. And one time, because you know the kids at the back of the bus are always the most shit. You know, they're always just the most like little shithead kids. And one dude kept talking shit, like he kept yelling some shit to the front at the bus driver, like directed at this bus driver. And then she said something that, even as a kid, I was like, you probably shouldn't say something like that. She's just like, well, if you had the balls to come up here and say it to my face, things would be a lot different. And I'm like, I don't know if you can talk about a kid's balls like that. Like, I don't know if you should be, I don't know if you should be doing that. But yeah, it's just, but like, I was like, oh, but this chick's fucking badass though. Like, she's going to fight a kid. That's fucking sick. But yeah, I was just like,
Oh my God.
I thankfully never had any shitty
She
bus
got the
drivers.
strap.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, when I think back to it, I wouldn't doubt any of them not having a strap, honestly.
Speaking of fights and bus drivers, do you imagine? I can't be the only one that has seen fights happen or start immediately as kids get off the bus.
Joe, we've seen a
Like,
couple.
Yeah, I mean, I
could
got in
you
a fight
imagine-
straight out of the
Can you
bus.
imagine the bus drivers? Like, you're a bus driver, right? The kids get out and immediately start fighting, and they're the last kids to get out, by the way. So you have two options, and you're not on school property. You're dropping these kids off at the bus stops and then whatever. So get off.
No, there's one
get off
option.
and stop the fight.
There's one
Or
option.
fucking
They haul
haul
ass. Every single time. They'll be like, hey, fuck it,
So,
they'll haul ass.
You know what? Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, they do
I
haul ass.
remember that like fighting started getting like really out of hand at our school, because I remember they would only suspend you when you would fight at the school or on the bus. But as soon as you were out away, it's fair game. You could fuck each other
It's
up.
fair game.
Bro, and the students knew, bro.
Yeah, so I remember because this was around the point where they were kind of starting to change that rule, where like if they found out you got in a fight with another student that was at Atkinson, you got suspended. And I remember one time, some people were like really hyping up a fight at my bus stop, of course. And I remember the bus was like more packed than usual because everybody was like taking this bus to go see the fucking fight. And I remember, you guys remember at our middle school we had a police officer there.
Liaison officer,
And
yeah.
she had driven over to our bus stop and kind of hid between the apartments.
No way.
And so, yeah, because she I guess they got a hold that somebody was gonna fight.
Damn.
Speaking of which, I actually got in a fight like right after out of the bus too. There we go. Only fight ever. I didn't know
Joseph
how
fell
to,
in.
so we did like I did like wrestling moves. I like fucking FU'd this motherfucker. It's
Nice.
funny though.
Oh my God.
I picked him. He was about my size at the time, so it's like we're super short as fuck.
Also midgets.
It was like a midget fight, dude. I did like a FU on him, like the John Cena move, and you just hear this little motherfucker go, ugh, as is like he just gets winded from his back hitting the ground, and being a savage, I gave him a few more kicks. Anyways,
Wheelchair.
yeah, dude, I went out because that was like the only fight ever, and he like. There's more to it.
It was his only fight, and it was life or death.
Don't fucking touch me.
Yeah, it's
Don't
like
fucking
just like
touch me,
fucking
kid.
snapped, you know. And so as I was speaking about how the police officer had gone there, so the kids fought. It was a shitty fight, and mostly just pushing and shoving. But they were like, "Hey, Officer X is here," and then they were like, "Oh shit!" And so there's like a little ranch right by the like a little farm by our bus stop, and there's also happens to be some pretty big ass rocks too. And so I didn't because I lived there, but all the kids who lived in the apartments away from the ones I lived all got rocks and just started throwing them at the cop car, and then just everybody
Whoa!
bolted.
Holy
Yeah,
Why would
Holy
they
shit!
do
shit,
that?
man.
because I don't know.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Because I
Obviously,
mean, they times were different too. They knew like we're at the time. How old were you, Joel? I am horrible with ages and
It's got to
grades.
be
Seventh grade.
12, 13.
Yeah,
So
12, 12
12.
and 12.
Okay. At the time, what the fuck are they gonna do to a 12-year old? Like, okay,
Beat 'em
maybe
up.
like a talk with their parents,
Yeah, that's it.
a citation the most, but like I don't know. Ratchet people back then really knew that, and they really knew how to twist
I don't
and
want to
use it
throw
to their
shade,
advantage.
but all the kids who sat in the back of the bus were from the other apartments. So
It's like, nah, no wonder.
Yeah,
I'll just let you in on a little, just to let you in on a little secret.
I don't know if you
yeah.
were there, Joel, but I remember there was a time in eighth grade where I would take your bus for a short while. It was like in the mornings. Or no, I think I took it in the afternoon too. But it was like for one particular year that I took your bus. Um,
Yeah, it was that entire year.
yeah, I think it was the entire last year. And there had been this new kid that was a little shithead, basically, and he would talk a lot of shit, but would never be able to back it up physically. And I remember, and there was this uh, African American boy at the back of the bus that always took that bus, and I know you know who I mean, Joel. He had glasses, and yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and so this other kid, this new kid, was being a little shithead, and he said something about the black kid's sister, and he said, and like I don't know what he said to her or about her.
oh, I heard this story.
Yes,
I heard this
yeah, I don't know
story.
what he said to her or about
Yo,
her. Well, I mean, it's not that crazy, but I just remember being on the bus and then everybody's getting off because I think it was the last stop, and the black kid's like walking through, and the new kid is sitting in a seat, and all of a sudden he just attacks him. He just attacks him inside the bus, inside the seat, and people are just like, "Oh hell yeah!" People start whipping out phones because the bus driver can't get through. So the bus driver was just looking through the like rearview mirror, like, "What the fuck?" And I God, it was like so visceral. Just when you look at kids that don't know how to fight, but they just become primal. This dude was just hit him like
Yeah.
got him like two shots in the face, and by the end of it, the kid had like a bloody nose, and he was just like in the corner of the seat crying to himself. And I'm like, well, that's kind of what you get for talking shit. But
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could definitely vouch on that primalness because like that's the only fight I've ever got into, and I didn't know how to fight. So it's like you just
instinct.
start throwing in any way you can to just ensure that he doesn't knock you out and or just fucking eats his fucking words.
I know it's
It's
fucking
weird.
bizarre.
It's almost like you like trying to take a life.
In your most pure instinct form, like your most purest form, you're just trying to kill somebody else. I do want to answer the question though.
Essentially,
On my worst teacher. My worst teacher was actually not in middle school nor high school. Um, it was in fifth grade.
Wow.
It was in fifth grade, and
yeah, I know what you're talking.
oh yeah, she was basically like just a huge hard ass. And
Miss H.
yes,
Miss H.
yes, dude, on the nose.
I didn't even have her. I had her. I had her for like a couple hours a week, and I
She
didn't
was a
like
cunt. Just
But no, but she was known as the
she absolutely was a cunt. It was just she was like such a hard ass that
Damn. Okay.
no, listen, it's one of those things.
she was Caesar.
It's one of those things where like thinking back to it now, like the way that I think about her now is like, yeah, she definitely did some things that, you know, weren't maybe what she should have done as a teacher teaching what 9, 10-year-old kids. You know, she treated us like
Yeah.
we were, you know, little demons, but at the end of the day, it's like we're just kids. And I think it was like you know, the quote unquote like I think it was like her honors class. I just happened to be in that class. Excuse me, the beer's getting to me. But it was just bullshit the way that she would like treat us if we didn't meet her standards on anything. And then if the whole class didn't meet her standards,
Yeah,
it was
right?
just like, oh no, you guys are in the wrong. Like, I'm going to punish you guys in this particular way. That was just kind of like, why? I don't know. But yeah, that's and it, I mean, just to show how much it affected me, it's like, I still think about it decades later, or I guess a full decade later, but I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe that.
She like forced everyone to write in cursive.
Yeah, she forced everybody
That's
to
all I
write in cursive.
remember.
That was just one of many things.
Her well, it's not like a bad thing, but like as a fifth grader, and you're just like cursive is just writing everything in fucking cursive. It just I don't know. But
In that
she expected
point,
like high school work from like a fifth grader.
We were taught cursive in third
Mhm.
grade, and that's it. We were taught. Fourth grade, they
Here's a
didn't
booklet.
uphold it. They didn't uphold
Here's a
it, right?
booklet.
Seriously.
Do the
But
outlines.
you did say something, Caesar, that kind of is kind of clear as to So what I want to say is that we remember these situations through the lens of what we felt then as a child. So, uh, uh, of course, as a fifth grader, we're like, man, she was a cunt. But who knows? Maybe as an adult, because I mean, she was still a teacher, so everybody else around her must have been like, "Wow, Miss H was such a good. Look at her kids; they're working so hard. They're so productive." So I feel like through the lens of an adult versus the lens of a child is
Completely different.
so
Yeah,
much
it's
different.
completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did want to add that my first grade teacher there at the same elementary school, that was about the age that my teeth just started just shedding. They just started falling
Oh
off
yeah.
uh, out of my mouth. And there was a teacher who sold snacks after school. The chubby professor,
The
chubby teacher.
librarian.
She's a
Yeah.
librarian.
God, she was
Yeah.
great.
All right, and so I would be there, just wanted snacks, and so I remember it got to the point where I kind of just started pulling out my teeth to get money. Yeah, so like Tooth Fairy would come in, I'd get myself a good $10, and I'm like, oh sweet, that's candy for 2 weeks, and
that's smart.
but yeah, and that I think that went on for like a month because I lost like 4 teeth in a month. But the thing was, I started, and yeah, it sounds bad. I started taking out teeth that weren't ready to come out, and
That's fine.
for some reason, I was like, as a first grader, I went through it, so it must have not really hurt me. But the sight, poor first grade teacher, she actually started getting really pissed off at me because I'd be like, "Hey, teacher, I lost another tooth," and she would always give me a baggie. But I remember, I think it was like the second time, I just started
Oh
bleeding.
my God.
And I was like, "Hey, so that's another tooth." And I think I had lost 2 teeth in the same week, and she totally lost her shit. And so at that point, I remember as a first grader, I was like, "Man, fuck this teacher!" Like she's like, "I'm losing my teeth." But now I'm thinking back, and I was like, "No, I was pulling them out. I was probably scaring everybody around me. I was just profusely bleeding out of my
You could run.
gums."
Hey guys, you want some candy?
No, she and
I'll be back right now.
yeah, and she was probably
Imagine-
scared. Like she was like, oh God, I'm gonna be blamed for the reason that this kid's pulling his fucking teeth out. Oh my God.
That's exactly
yeah.
it. Imagine you're a teacher and you have your row of kids, and in the way back you see some little short ass kid.
This
just
motherfucker with some pliers is fucking yanking.
No,
Yeah, so if I had to say who my absolute worst teacher was, I would say it was her. But reasoning now as a functional
hindsight.
adult, I'm like, no, I think I was a weird first grader.
To be fair, if some kid is yanking out their teeth, you'd want to go up to them like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like,
hell no. If somebody's
wanna
yanking
talk
out their
about-
teeth as a kid, you look at that like, I'm gonna stay away from that kid. That kid's a fucking demon.
You brought up
Yeah.
a good point. You mentioned first grade, and I was trying to think about who you were talking about, and I realized I didn't go to the same school as you
Yeah.
in first grade. So which brings up the next question
Oh, you
on
son
the
of a
Q and A
bitch!
is
You transitioned it so well
I like
well,
too.
that.
You
I like that.
you gonna
son of a
transition?
bitch!
Aha,
I knew
bitch.
it.
Big man things.
Yeah. So the next question we got was how did everyone meet? So
Okay.
you can go ahead and take it off, Diego.
We were just pulling out our teeth, you know.
We're pulling our teeth. You
Oh.
mean me started off?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
So, okay, this is something that I was going to mention before we started recording, but I figured I'd save it. I remember not when I first met Joel, but I remember when we first really started like talking, I guess. And I don't know if you remember this too, but in particular, we had like a book fair, like a book parade. It was a parade.
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
parade
parade.
was in second
Second
grade.
grade. Yeah, and I can't remember if no, I don't think we worked on it at the same time. I think we had our own things that we did, but we walked around the entire school after school, and like parents could like chaperone or they could wait at like certain checkpoints and stuff. And I remember you were in front of me, and at some point we were like out in the middle of the field, and my mom was there. Excuse me, Jesus, I'm drinking a lot. My mom was there, and then I just remember you, and you were there, and I was just like, we just had a conversation like with my mother right there. It was so bizarre. But that's the first time that
Yeah,
as far back as I can remember like us talking and that kind of beginning there for Joel.
yeah. I remember doing that parade on like I think it was like a Dr. Seuss book.
Nice.
Dr.
I
Seuss, yeah.
I forget it. Yeah, I don't know which book
Green
it
Eggs and
was.
Ham.
Uh,
It was
was it?
Green Eggs and
Yeah, I
Ham.
think so. Because yeah, and I think we were super excited because I think this was during the week of like field day.
Yeah.
So they had like extra like the little ice pops that they would give around on field day.
Oh
Otter
my
Pop,
And
yeah.
god.
everybody got the otter pops, and we were just like fucking going ham on the otter pops.
I don't think that was a good motion to get on
I
camera.
was gonna say the motion.
Well, that's how you eat it.
Can't
you
wait
know?
to edit that.
If you want to take it out of context,
I know. I'm like, dude.
I think if I
Um,
had to, just to kind of call it for Caesar and Pedro, Caesar, I have to be honest. I remember seeing you around elementary, but we never really talked or anything. I don't think.
Yeah, I was gonna mention. It's actually really good that you started. I was gonna mention. We should start in actual time. How everyone met, because theoretically, you and Joel and Diego met first, and then somehow I met Diego, and then somehow in high school we all started hanging out.
No, it was in
And then I don't know when
It was in well, it was more
middle
middle
school.
school.
We
I can
Yeah.
probably
is middle school. We were like, it was like
I was-
iffy. It was very iffy.
So-
We knew
Yeah, I
who
was
each
gonna-
other were.
I definitely want to touch on middle school. Definitely,
do it.
just because when we started sixth grade, yeah,
Let's do
boy. When we started sixth grade, we were all. It was me, Caesar, and Diego that were in the same class. At this point, I
Yeah.
didn't know Joel yet.
I have horrible memory.
It was an old lady. Started with a Y.
Yes.
It was a Miss
Yeah.
Y. Yeah,
yeah.
and
And then
I
she
remember
had like poor lady, but she like crapped out on us for
The
a
whole
little
year,
bit, right?
It was the whole year.
she had
Oh yeah.
she had a bad
And then
hip
you guys
and-
needed to be like moved
Mhm.
out, huh?
Yeah. She
Yeah,
was our
exactly.
science teacher. Yeah. Right?
She was
She was
the
like a
English.
reading
grab
teacher.
another mics.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. I'll figure it out.
But anyway, so at this point, luckily we each had our own cliques already. So I went to Spitolny in my elementary school, so I had my clique from Spitolny there, and of course you guys had your own individual friends. But that class was honestly so fun that we all just vibed. There wasn't a toxic person in there, so we were all able to get along. And at this point, this is when I met, of course, the both of you. I didn't fully start talking to Caesar. At least I don't remember. I do remember like saying what's up to you and all that good stuff. But
I
never
don't remember
actually
that at all.
yeah. But what I do remember is when my first interaction with Diego.
Yeah, man.
To set the scene. So there's four tables, right? There's a group, and Diego is facing this way, and I'm facing this way, looking at Diego. And I guess we were taking a test of some
Yeah.
sorts. And I don't know, for some reason, me and Diego just clicked. We were just like, we started talking about what? We started talking about like Marvel. We started talking about DC.
It
We started
was
talking about regular
it was
show.
something about, yeah, like something brought it up where it was either like a drawing or something on like our clothing that made us start to converse at some point before the test was going to be taken. Um,
Hmm.
and but what
I
happened?
think I've heard this story.
No,
I
I
was
was
just
just
laughing at
remembering
what
the
it.
memory,
So
dude.
yeah, basically, and I mean, not to take it over. If you want to finish it, go ahead.
So the way I remember it, because again, this was what,
Sixth grade.
God, 8, 9 years ago,
Oh,
6th grade. Whenever we were in
6th
sixth
grade.
grade,
So
almost 10 years.
6th grade was
7.
in 2010.
Yeah, 10 years.
2010. So damn, holy shit.
So you guys are
So
12. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yep. 10
so,
years. Holy fuck.
so of course,
If you don't feel
It
old,
might have
that
been
just makes you feel
09,
old.
2010.
hmm
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Ah,
you guys
madre,
remember,
güey.
but we would put a folder up. I have a book here, just a
Oh
book,
yeah.
but we would have a folder up just to like protect our answers.
300 porn ideas.
And,
I can
and
do it with
He's
you. I can
coming.
do it with you.
with video, because legit, I don't know what possessed us. We were some dumbass kids, and there's a girl that I thought was cute over here, and some of the fuck that sat right next to me, but I didn't care. And legit, we
Yeah, I remember hearing the
Yo,
story now.
Benja's dying.
It was so
Finish
stupid.
it.
This is the
Finish
stupid.
it.
I just want to say this is the stupidest way I could have ever met one of my best friends ever. This is fucking ridiculous. We're taking this test.
fucking love you,
We're
man.
fucking taking this test, and now it's on video. So for context, if you're only doing audio, we have folders in front of us, right? To because that was the best way to prevent cheating in fucking middle school.
Mhm.
We have our folders up, and we start. Where I'm like, I have my head inside my folder, and I peek up, and I just with my glasses, I see fucking Pedro looking straight back at me with his eyes, and then we start going up, we start going down, we start going up, we start going down, start going up, and we're just fucking peeking at each other like a pair of fucking bozos. And of course,
What made it way funnier for me was we would just go, "Whoa, whoa," with the mouth noises and everything.
it was
God
the stupidest fucking thing. But from there, it was just like, all right, this dude's a fucking G. Like, let's go. So that's how
From that dude,
Pedro
we
and
became
I, yeah,
friends.
yeah, that's how Pedro and I from like the get go were just like, all right, this dude's cool.
Yeah.
Now, I have another story that I want to talk about. With Caesar, me and Caesar just clicked because we had the same group of friends.
Yeah.
We were hanging with, yeah, we were like from 7th and 8th grade, we just had the same group of friends. So that's how me and Caesar knew each other.
Yeah, now I started remembering. Just two chicks that we had mutual friends with, and then they went somewhere else.
Right. Now,
They're dead.
They died.
Ah, you beat me
the
to
story
it.
Yeah.
with me and, jeez. The story with me and Joel is a little bit embarrassing for me.
I was your fucking wingman, boy.
You're my wingman. So
That little moment of silence. He's like, "Yep."
Hold
no,
on,
that's not the
Pedro.
part.
Before we get to that,
Go ahead.
since we're transitioning into high school,
Yeah, that's right.
I kind of and I want to finish up how. So, Diego mentioned that we met in 2nd grade, and then from there it kept going on because in lunch we remember when we'd have the massive fucking soccer games where like it'd be like
Money,
20v20.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Sure.
it was fucking awesome and we also did do that in middle school. But Caesar somehow like it's a person you kind of know of that's a mutual classmate, but you aren't friends with, and that was kind of for the most of elementary school was kind of my relationship with Caesar. I don't remember even talking to you in
Yeah. Right.
elementary because I don't even think we had mutual classes. So that takes us to 7th grade because I didn't have you in 6th grade, and in 7th grade that's where we had the same teacher, the writing teacher in the morning,
Yep.
and honestly, it we didn't even start talking until the end of the
Class
the end of
year.
the first semester, and the reason I say this is because we started talking about Call of Duty because we had a group
Oh
of
yeah.
like
That's
5
right.
friends. It was me, you, and there was a couple Eduardos and another friend of ours. His name was remember
Steven.
Samuel
Samuel,
and
Steven,
Steven and Steven.
and
All right, so
yep.
it was just I remember hanging out at the basketball
Fuck.
courts, dude.
Yeah.
We'd be like at the basketball courts, taking up a whole court, and we'd be just talking about Call of Duty. And
Yep.
I hadn't played Call of Duty just yet because I was in I didn't have a PS4 just yet. And so what I had to do was I was just kind of talking out of my ass with you guys. So from there, I essentially once I got the PlayStation 3, that's when we made our
PS3.
channel together, remember?
Yeah.
When we
So
made
this
a little
isn't
like
the
gaming channel.
this
This
isn't the
isn't our
first
first channel.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were damn really good at it. I don't know why we stopped. We stopped for a whole bunch of different reasons, but we were committed to that shit, man. We were
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah. And I remember we like made our little like intro animations
Yep.
with our little squeaky ass voices and everything.
Yeah.
I love
So-
Commentary and everything.
that's the only reason I love those videos because of Joel's squeaky ass.
Did you guys ever get to see them?
Yeah, you guys showed us them like
Yeah, right. I
years
feel like
ago.
everyone, a handful of people saw them. They were up for a while. I think we did them on your account, and then like
No, we made a whole new Google just like we did for this one.
so are they
I-
still?
I don't know.
Oh, fucking
They might
Christ.
still be up there. That'll be
Yeah, I was like, they might be up
interesting
there.
to go search after that. But from there, I moved on to 8th grade,
I moved on.
and I moved into the honors team, and that's where I kind of guess in a way I reunited with Diego, and because that whole 8th grade we're just I guess that's kind of where it kind of more the best friend nature kind of started setting into fruition a little bit more, and then that puts us at high school. I knew of Pedro, but again had never spoken to you because I had known Caesar, and I knew that Caesar was mutual friends with you, but I had never even uttered a word to you, Pedro. And
Mhm.
also, I was am and was good friends with your ex girlfriend at that time, so I knew who you were.
Right, and
Because my girlfriend at the time was good friends with her, and so my girlfriend at the time.
put some names in the chat because I'm trying blanks.
Also, I want to point out real quick. I bet if I look far back enough, I could probably find that channel that you guys are talking about. And
Please do it.
I was subscribed to
yeah,
it.
I was subscribed to it too, and it was bad though. Like the name was bad. I mean, it was like something.
King's Production.
It was
that's all I
like
remember.
XXX Kings Productions XXX.
XX King's Production.
Key
Yep.
Productions,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. who I don't even know what the fuck that came out of, but yeah, Pedro. Like I knew you through other people, but I swear I had never even met you. I kind of just I think I just knew you from your profile picture. You were just like,
Oh,
Yeah,
good old
yeah.
Facebook.
and so yeah, so that kind of just puts us at high school there because at this point I had been good friends with Caesar, Diego, but just not yet with you, Pedro. So that puts us at what you were about to say before I cut you off. So go ahead.
And it's cool that you mentioned that because I almost ruined that because the first interaction that I remember with you was I asked you for change for a 5, and at that point we were already saying like, "Well, what's up?" and what
Right, that is true.
yeah,
And
so
that was because I had known you. So when we had that, it was what is it, economics?
we had economics. Yeah.
We had economics together. So I was like, when I saw you, I was like, yo, I know that dude. So we're like, hey, what's up? Because we were mutual friends through Caesar. So we're like, okay, we're cool.
And I remember distinctively Caesar walking us both to economics, like, "Hey, I know this guy. I know this guy was good." And from there, we were like, "Oh, what's good?" But no,
Hey, que rollo?
and to this day, I still cringe at it, like in the back of my head,
Yeah.
because I did not want this to be the first impression of me. But someone had given me a five. Someone had given me a five. I don't remember who. And then I wanted change for the vending machines because they have some. At this point, Michelle Obama hasn't taken over, so they have some
Oh,
banging
the
snacks.
Arizona.
Oh, we had the peach teas, the
Oh
Arizonas.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? I was like, oh, they're so
Fucking
rare
Michelle
now.
Obama.
Fucking
Dude,
Christ.
we had Snickers ice cream in there, dude. It was lit.
Oh, that is right. Yeah.
We
Yes,
were
sir.
robbed.
So
So much stuff, man.
I wanted to change, and I asked Joel, "Hey, do you have change for a five?" Man, it might have been a 10, maybe. Who knows? But I gave him it.
It probably was a 5 because I only carried $10 on me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I asked him for a change for a five. Next day, he comes to me. He's like, "Dude, it's fake." I was like, "What?"
Oh yeah, you motherfucker! It was a fake $5 bill.
You motherfucker.
I had on God, Joel, on
Doesn't
God.
exist.
I had
It was because we so at this time Diego hadn't joined our clique yet because it was me, Caesar, Pedro, and our other friend. Yeah, I'm not gonna say her name, but it was just us, and we would go over to the Circle K. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then so at that point,
Oh, yep.
when I tried to pay with the $10 bill, they were like, "Yo, homie, it's fucking fake." And then I was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And I remember I only carried that amount of money with me, so I couldn't buy anything. And so that's when I called you out. I was like, "Yo, it's fake."
I felt so fucking embarrassed. At that point, I was like, "Oh shit, for real!" And I immediately gave you whatever money I had. Um, but yeah, and then I turned around and I was like, "Oh, I'm stuck with a $5 bill now, a fake $5 bill." And sure enough, I went to the fucking. There was like a little snack bar that they had at Metro Tech. I just went in there. And I just bought some jerky with it. They took
Yeah,
it.
they
Jerky
didn't
was
check it.
jerky was lit. Like a little $1 packet of jerky.
It was gangster,
That was lit.
dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, from there on, I made it my goal to make sure Joel had a good impression of me because to me that was the most embarrassing thing of my life.
So
Yeah,
so then he asked me to be his wingman.
How did that come? How did that go down? Because I don't remember.
Okay, so
This is your point.
yeah, this is my point. Uh, I in second period I had biology, and in there I was you guys remember Eric? We were good
Hey,
friends at
shout
that
out.
time. Oh no, we
Shout
yeah,
out
we're
to
still good
Eric.
friends. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but he seems to be
He's got to be a
doing well.
broker or
Doing-
something.
That's good.
That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I think so. He was really into it, and then his brother was really into that too. So it's only natural that he took him under his wing.
I didn't know
But yeah, so we had biology together, but we had your ex girlfriend as a group member. And I remember at the time we were really into like Breaking Bad, me and Eric, and it turned out that she was also really into Breaking Bad. So we were like, oh shit, cool. So we kind of just started talking about that,
that. Hmm.
and she became a mutual friend with us. And I remember this was probably like 2 weeks into to class because obviously
When
it's not
was
going to
this?
be the first.
Was this beginning of sixth grade?
No, freshman year.
That's right. That's right. What the fuck am I saying? I meant to say freshman.
Yeah, right at the like we're we're freshies. We're straight. We're right in there.
Freshies.
And so she starts becoming my friend, but it turns out I hadn't even noticed, but she was in our economics class.
Mhm.
And so at the time, me and you kind of hung out together, but then she noticed me, and I'm not sure if she didn't know anybody else yet, and she started hanging out with me. And so that was like the point where I was like, hey, I'm hanging out with these two, but these two are kind of, getting a little antsy together. So I was like, yo, oh shit. And it wasn't until I think she told me that she was like, yo, how do I get this dude to like actually be
No.
my boyfriend? I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking leave you guys alone. What the fuck? Like, I don't want to be a part of this
Kind of too
anymore.
young.
So I kind of just left you guys alone because you guys sat over by the computers. You remember?
Mm-hmm. And specifically,
so I
because
I just left you guys alone, and I mean, you guys dated for a while, so mission success.
it is what it is.
Yeah. So that was kind of how that happened.
I
And
just
so that was kind of
I was just gonna point out. I feel like based on Pedro's demeanor, this is not bringing up very positive memories. So
He's like,
I
yeah,
could just
fucking takes a shot of
he was
whiskey.
just like, oh yeah, it is what it is, and I'm like, don't go down that road.
But yeah, that's
bro.
the entire timeline of how we met. And then during high school, once we just all had a little clique and we just hung out every day, it just became a thing. And then towards like junior, senior year, I would take the bus with Diego sometimes. So sometimes I would see him. And then obviously it was like 6 in the morning because we would have to take the bus early to get there. It was like an hour away.
Yeah.
So we would
Oh,
have to get on like at 6. And la vida vale madre a las 6 de la
fuck,
mañana.
dude.
You don't want to talk to anyone. So we just had our earbuds on and we were just
It
like,
was
what's
just
up?
like, hey,
And we
I
just,
see you, I acknowledge you, I respect you, but fuck off. Like I'm gonna listen to my music and
Yeah,
I'm
like
gonna, and I'm gonna fall asleep like right before the bus gets to our stop. Because goddamn,
oh, dude, we would actually fall asleep,
yeah,
man.
I'd fall
Jesus.
asleep all the time.
But yeah, so it became a routine just to have breakfast together, have lunch together, walk to the bus stop together. Yeah, and then we
Circle K,
just
dude. That was
Those
Yeah.
fun.
honest on God, the best memories of
Those are
high
good.
school for me.
yeah. So we've
It's
gone through a
something so
lot.
simple. Just go grab a soda, grab some chips, and just sit. I remember like at times we'd be like having so much fun. Like we'd be like, "Oh, look, the bus. It went
Oh
by.
no!
Oh
Literally
well."
went by. We didn't give one fuck.
Yeah, we did it. And I remember my mom's like, "Oye, hijo, ¿por qué estás llegando tan tarde?" And I'm like, "Oh, es que el pinche bus no llega."
No, seriously,
And
and I had it the worst, I think, because I lived so fucking far. Like I lived like on the street side. You know, for context, I guess.
oh, you
Yeah,
did.
if I had to give like an area, for example, where our high school was, it was like 19th Ave and Thomas. You know,
Around peace. Yeah.
so and I lived on like 29th Street and Union. So it was a solid like half hour by freeway. So just to give you an idea of like fuck, I live so fucking far. So my mom would have to pick me up at like a mutual friend's house that I would go to, and she would pick me up because my little sister went to our old elementary school.
Elementary.
Excuse me. And so yeah, that was always a pain in the ass where she's like, yo, like, I just got off work. Like, where are you at? And I'm like, oh, it's because the bus is passed and they're super packed. I'm sorry. It was totally worth it though to make those memories of like,
Yo, but they fucking were
no,
packed.
they absolutely were.
We were
Yeah.
We
we were
bullshitting.
ass
We
to
were
ass, like
Yeah.
almost dick to dick
Yeah.
at times.
Bro.
I was like, "Yo, homie, back the fuck up."
From 19th Ave all the way to I want to say 51st is when it started getting
Yeah,
like less
you're
packed.
absolutely right. It was
But,
fucking full.
And somehow, like without even initially without even knowing, we kept walking towards the Circle K, but it was far enough to where no other student would walk down to get the bus before the fucking hurt and the hordes of zombies, and so we would actually get good seats.
We would walk
Obviously,
farthest.
yeah, we would walk pretty far. We were on, like relatively speaking, but because there was another stop between our destination over to the Circle K.
yeah.
And oddly enough, I remember that the bus stop that we would wait at, the one by Circle K, was actually the bus stop at Phoenix College. And I remember all this time, like I would look at the people who would come out, and they would look so tired. They would look so beat. I'm like, shit, I'm not gonna go to Phoenix College. And I'm like, I ended up going to Phoenix College.
It's like now I'm so
And
tired.
graduating
Now
from
I'm
there.
so beat.
And then graduating from Phoenix College. It's actually not bad. I'm not gonna lie. I think in terms of experience, I think it's a lot funner to go to a college than it is to a university.
University, dude.
Granted, I don't get fucked up. I don't go to parties, so of course I'm losing that side of
The university.
university experience. But the thing is, I transferred to university my junior year, and that's where it starts to get a little more serious. So nobody around me is also trying to get fucked up. So it's like,
Doing lines of coke and shit.
yeah, no, that's like freshman, senior
My
or
God.
freshman and sophomore
The
year.
higher you go, it's just like Adderall
The
and
higher
shit.
you go, the
Yeah,
harder
no,
the drug.
that actually what does happen. I think like the more the further you go into like university, I think the harder the drugs people start to take because
A la
Hell
madre, güey, no
yeah, that's
mames.
hilarious.
That's scary.
I know a couple guys who take some pretty hard ass shit.
Nice.
But yeah, so going back to just like how we met each other, I'm realizing now that we just bonded over having breakfast, lunch, and just spending our after schools together for like 3 years, three and a
4 years,
half.
dude.
4 years
We
almost.
started
Yeah.
We did it started since freshman year,
Yeah.
right? 4 years for the entire 4 years,
ended.
and then in freshman, junior, it was like a group of us. So it wasn't always just the four of us. It was always a group. But senior years, that's when we kind of like
It was
did our own
refined.
thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I
Yeah.
have this photo that's on Diego's Instagram. I don't know, you guys can't see it, but like it's the photo that we're all dressed up in.
Oh yeah,
I don't
because
know
we
what
had
we're dressed up for.
As a presentation.
we had we were doing that presentation for
Yeah.
our networking class.
But yeah, I think it just looks so dope that we're just like, oh, we have to
We
recreate.
should
this
get
photo
that
at one
framed,
point.
actually.
Yeah.
We should get that framed. That would be fucking sick.
I have something framed around here. I don't know. Oh, I have Diego and Joel with our mutual other friend with the J. I don't know if she's cool with us saying her name, but yeah, I don't want to show the photo either. But you all know.
Oh,
her.
is that when we went to regionals?
Yeah. So
Yeah, that
I don't know where
picture's
Pedro
fucking
was.
badass. I don't have that picture, dude. Send me that.
Am I in
Yeah, I
that
got
picture?
you. I have it framed. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, I know
yeah,
that picture.
You're looking
Okay.
lawyer.
Yeah.
You look like a
Yeah.
bodyguard.
The one where I look like a bodyguard. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what you did, Joel. You know
My
what you did.
bad.
But yeah, it's really cool, man. You look really professional.
He looks like a security
everyone-
guard. That's
Yeah,
what
you look like a Secret Service agent, bro.
Still do at times, I bet.
I'm only here because I'm here to protect the objective.
It's like I have a gun. I'm not afraid to use it.
Yeah, like I think the group grew initially, like just like with any group. But then like I think it was around sophomore year people started leaving because I don't think they realized that the high school was for them. It wasn't
Yeah.
even like, oh, it was the friendships.
That's right.
No, it
That's
was just the high school wasn't for them because we
It
had
was
we had
magnet school.
quite a bit of people. I
We
think
had
our
a
group was like
squad,
probably
dude.
yeah, it was a
a
squad.
squad.
Yeah, and it was
Shout out
cool.
to Young Squad.
But also, I think
Stop.
as soon as those people kind of started to leave, obviously they're still friends because we never left on bad terms. Like I said, they just left because
The
school wasn't for them.
itself was
Yeah.
not for them.
yeah, and so that's where I don't know who I think it was you, Diego, who mentioned that it got refined.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. It was kind of just more mutually exclusive. We kind of didn't allow a lot of people in or out. I'm kidding. Just in. And so we're like, yeah. And I mean, it's the same squad as it is today. So I think we did good.
What I really loved about it was so easy for anyone to be friends with us. You literally just had to be around us. They'd be like, oh,
Yeah, like we were so chill. We had multiple people that would one day be with us, and then 3 days later they we wouldn't hear from them, and then they would just show back up, and it would be like nothing normal. Just because that's how easygoing we were, and I think we still are. So
yeah, we still are like that.
yeah,
All right.
but yeah, we gotta. That's something I want to do. I want to recreate that photo. That's pretty dope.
Let's do it, man.
We should absolutely do
Well,
that.
you
Yeah.
get to-
What the fuck have you been drinking? I like the entire podcast. You've been taking a sip out of this red ass drink. What is
Like
that?
sangria
blood.
or something.
Fucking tiger blood, man.
Huh? Tiger blood?
It's Jamaica, dude.
Oh, I heard tiger. I was like, what?
It's tiger blood, man.
I was like, a la madre, güey, no mames. Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Fuck, I have to pee, so yeah. And since on the tradition of whoever has to pee, I guess, because I made Pedro close out the podcast last time because he had to pee. I'll go ahead and close out the podcast. So thanks for listening, everyone. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Chela Time Podcast. And yeah, so we'll
Hey,
see you next
Actually,
time. And
we'll have a little banner.
We're
coming.
on YouTube. Go watch the video.
Please subscribe
Yeah, if you're listening on audio, we also have YouTube.
We
Yeah,
thank you
we'll
for
hide
all
in
your
your
support.
experience.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
So